I mean, I guess this is a good point to talk about your latest projects. Or should
your latest
Should I
project.
say our latest projects? Because by the time this episode is out, it probably would have been announced by now that I'm making an anime. And,
You made an anime.
I made
done.
an anime. I
finished.
made an anime. It is finished by the time this comes out, maybe, but or at least announced.
Yeah.
At the time of recording, we're still midway through production, and we're still having meetings basically every week, including with Kevin as well. We had one just before the shoot right now, and I can confirm everything that Kevin is saying because this.
Oh no! You're gonna call him out?
As now not just your mate, but a collaborator, and I guess the project lead for this.
Yeah, you're
the
my boss,
lead. So we'll be going over a track, and Kevin's just like, okay, so this is a track for this scene. What do you think of blah blah blah? And I say blah blah blah, but he literally will use the term blah blah blah.
Okay, can I ask you a question? Did you know what I meant?
I know what you mean.
Thank you.
I know you.
Look, don't complicate it. Life is complicated enough. It'll rear its ugly head again.
That is a blah blah blah.
Yeah. The thingamajig.
Yeah. So
thing.
we'd be listening to this track, and he'd be like, "Okay, so I was thinking about adding the piano here, and it's doing a little bit of a dibbly boobly blah blah blah. Do you want me to change that?" And I'm like, "Maybe a little bit. Maybe I'm thinking this." And I'm like, he'll write in his notes, "Okay, change the piano blah blah blah."
I mean, it's so funny as well because I was overhearing you guys talking in the other room there, and it's just like what I love more than Kevin being very esoteric about describing music to Garnt. What's more funny is when Garnt is trying to describe it back to Kevin, because I think I overheard like Garnt saying like, "Yeah, I really like that like fluttering thing,"
Yeah.
and I'm just like, I get that.
It's
Tremolo,
So,
by the
Yeah,
way.
I understand
The
that.
answer is tremolo.
It's so fucking weird, right? Because obviously I don't have a musical background. So I have to communicate instead of like using technical terms, just more of like the feeling of what I'm going for.
Yeah, but that's important.
That's
That's super important.
That's critical.
Yeah.
And one thing I've had to learn, like Kevin, is when giving feedback or when giving direction, you really have to cut out the bullshit.
Yeah.
You can't talk for like 5 minutes and expect them to like understand. Yeah, I know exactly what you're going for. Keep it short, keep it concise, and just try to like get the keywords and emotions down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just a translator. You're fluent in music. You translate the feelings.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Is like if Garnt, for example, wants to use musical terminology, I'll adapt to that. If it's like better for him to just talk in emotion or just other terms, it doesn't really matter. It's like I would like to think that by this point I've gotten adapt enough at talking to someone that no matter what language they're going to use, there'll be some sort of common ground where you can at least just say, okay, so I think you want this. And normally, because I have done the 5 minutes of conversation sort of thing, and sometimes you need to talk for 10 minutes to find a solution that takes 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Like it's just you're trying to explain something. It's difficult to explain because you're trying to just word it in the moment, and you're trying to explain and justify it or whatever it may be. And then it turns out that all we needed to fucking do for one thing was like change the BPM by 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I had a track that was 99 BPM for over a scene, and it was just like not hitting like just one or two things. I was like, fuck, all the micro syncs are out, and like it ends like half a bar too late. And I was like, hold on, 100, 101. And then all the micro syncs worked. It ended on the right fucking like cut. And I was just like, sometimes it's very simple.
See, I would have never known that. My feedback to that particular track was kind of like ends a little bit late. Can we find a way to just end the track at this exact moment?
Yeah.
And he's just like, all right, let me fiddle around with the numbers. And I'm like, all right, BPM then, I guess.
Yeah,
BPM.
because, obviously the BPM trick can work within a certain range. Like 2 BPM, you're probably not going to, I mean, I'm very sensitive to BPM. So like normally I'm like, I actually, my on like not Spotify, in Safari, where you have like your favorites or something like that. I literally, or whatever browser you use, the one that I use the most is called taptempo.com. And I literally just, if I have an idea in the head, I'll go to taptempo.com, tap it. Okay, what is that? That's probably about 88.
Yeah.
and then the computer will say, "Oh, it's actually 87." Okay, and I'll type that in, then I can give this go. So, because if you have, and I'm curious about you as well, Joey. Here, if you have a musical idea, it's very like fleeting for me. Like if I don't get,
do it right away.
if I don't fucking write this down in some capacity, whether it be in like a memo and we're like A, G, F sharp or something like that, even as rudimentary as that. But if I don't write it down quick and
You forget.
like unsullied is gonna the purity will disappear, and then the idea will disappear very soon after.
Yeah, I'm the same way where it's like I either write down, you know, like the key that it's in or whatever, or I just like open up my like notes app. I just hum into my phone. And then the next day I wake up and I listen back to it and I'm like, this is shit.
I've done shit in the middle of the night. I think I can't remember if I mentioned this before, but yeah, I've done like middle of the night stuff where I've been like, blah, 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 a tempo approximately this, B to down to A, chord, wake up, I'm like, this makes no fucking sense. This makes zero sense.
I've done the same, but it's with like video and story ideas.
Yep.
So sometimes I will wake up and I think I will have a banger fucking dream with like a banger storyline. I like quickly note it down, go back to sleep, wake up, and it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
I've done that so many times with video ideas. And it's like, I don't know why. It's like a 2 a.m. brain is just like, you know what? This is a fucking great idea.
Yeah.
I wake up the next day, I'm like, was I high?
Yeah.
But I feel like that's a very good creative feeling to have because you
totally.
can then at least realize that no matter how strongly you feel about an idea, even when normal, you're like, at one time I felt really sure about this other thing and it turned out to be fucking stupid. And so whenever I'm to get too sure about something, I'm always like, am I really sure?
Yeah, let's sit on it a bit.
I feel like there's a whole other different skill set, which is having the ability to translate what's in your head, which may not change over decades, into something that's realistic and real. And I feel like that in itself is almost like an entire lifetime journey.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you know, even if you wake up with something and the moment you play it, you're like, it's different. It's dead. Fuck. And then, got to wait for the next one to try again. Yeah.
It's so weird how your brain can just gaslight you into feeling these like emotions when you dream sometimes. I don't know.
So you thought that was a good idea?
Yeah. And you get so invested. I don't know how invested you guys get in the storyline of like your own dreams.
Yeah.
We talked about it like briefly.
Depends on the dream.
But you know when you think like it's such a weird feeling when you wake up thinking this one thing is real and then your logic kicks in and you're like, wait, this one thing that happened makes no sense.
Yeah, it felt so real.
Why did it feel so real, you know?
True.
Our brain is like so unreliable, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have a... sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, do you have recurring locations in your dreams?
I don't know.
I barely remember my dreams. And if I do
I
remember it, I'm one of those people where like I remember having the dream, but I can't remember the details of it. Or it's like I'll fully remember like in detail, okay, I was doing this, or you know, there were these people here or whatever. And then the moment I wake up and I think to myself, that was a great dream. I want to remember that. As I'm thinking that to myself, it just starts fading away.
Yeah.
And I hate that feeling.
Yeah, that's why I need to like note it down so quickly because I need before.
No,
it
for me,
fades away.
before I even have the mental capacity to be like, let's write that down, it's just gone. I'm just like, no, come back, please. I need to remember. And then,
Yeah.
It goes very quickly.
It's so weird that you can see your like memory being wiped in real time.
No,
I know what
really
he's
is.
talking- I know what he's talking
It's like
about.
someone took an etch a sketch and is just doing this in front of my face, and I'm just like, no, stop, please. I want to remember.
I was going to ask, because I remember when Garnt told us about the project to begin with, I was like, you're going to ask Kevin to do the music? Because I was like, it's got to be Kevin. Of
course.
How did that all like come about with you actually asking Kevin, or did you have any idea this was happening, or?
What was the initial talk about it? Like,
I remember the initial talk. Actually, you guys were there.
What?
Because it was last year when we were at DreamHack. Actually, no, you weren't there.
I wasn't there.
Fucked off.
Where did I go?
Oh, the dinner.
The dinner.
Why was I
yes.
not at this dinner again?
yeah.
You had to go to the States or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to leave.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you guys used
Yeah.
the fucking company car.
Yeah.
That's right.
That was a fun thing to witness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you as well.
Yeah.
I was
So
like,
Garnt is the fucking little shit here.
Yeah, we got to get back at him.
Yeah, me and Joe got to go and
just
do it.
putting a down payment on the music.
Exactly. It
was an investment.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
I was
investment,
like, with a project this big, it didn't feel right just asking you like via text. So I was gonna phone you, but we had this opportunity where we were gonna have dinner. So I was like, I need to fucking get dinner with Kevin. And I think that was the first time I told you, hey, I am making an anime. Would you be interested in doing the music for it? And at this point I was still nervous because I was like, damn, he's a big fucking composer, busy as fuck.
Yeah, you always feel bad if you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes your friends, asking them for you're like, look, I'm not asking for like a do me a solid.
No.
It's
Yeah,
more like,
yeah,
if
yeah.
you
I
wanna
get that.
do it.
Yeah.
I'm never not gonna say no, dude.
Yeah.
No, like why would I? Not just because it's a job.
This is a true mate, man.
Like,
I'm
yeah.
gonna say this is a true fucking mate right here.
Yeah, it's not just because I'm happy to be employed, of course, but like I'm happy to work. Like I enjoy working, but I'm never not going to say no to you first and foremost. But but also the project is incredible. Like the project is really really sweet. It's written from the heart. So if anything, there's more pressure on me to not fuck it up because like I have to write something from the heart now as well because I've got to do my best to match what you're doing with the story. So
yeah, so I'm curious. Like we're not collaborators right now. We're talking as like mate to mate.
Okay.
We'll go professional. We'll go professional.
Let me
blah blah.
switch over this mode here.
We'll go professional blah blah mode when we're working back on the project right now. So I want to know, honest opinion. When I first told you about the details of the project in the official capacity, and the first words that were uttered out of my mouth were, so I made an Isekai.
Yeah.
What was your initial reaction? I need to know.
Honestly, I was very proud. Very proud, as someone who comes from the Isekai world as well.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's like cool. Like that's it. The thing is, like, until I know that could mean so much. Honestly,
Yeah.
that could what is and what isn't an Isekai at this point.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
If you get on a plane in a show, is it an Isekai?
Well, that's yeah.
Not sure about that.
If you go into space,
well, you're transported to another world, right? Via plane. What if you get on a bus and go to another city?
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
We have a word for this. Kevin.
Yeah. Okay.
do you
Is there a
label
travel
Travel
anime?
to another.
Yeah, do you
city.
travel to another world?
There is no another city or town.
It could be anything.
Like if you're asking someone like, oh, what are you doing next week, and you're like going to another country, you don't go, oh, sorry, I'll be in another world.
I'm gonna use count myself.
yeah. But what is a world?
what is the world?
Don't overcomplicate this, Kevin.
See, this is where
wait, Kevin's cooking. I
No, he's
think.
not cooking.
No.
What are you talking about?
This is definitely not cooking.
Yeah, because another thing I always wanted to ask you, since I can see how much heart you're putting into this project now, but as a creative myself, I know sometimes you can have some projects can be more interesting than others to tackle. What aspects do you look for in terms of, oh, this sounds like an exciting project or an exciting opportunity to work on?
If you can buy another synth.
Yeah.
Gives you an excuse to buy a new
Show me the money.
Yeah.
No. Well, from the selfish perspective, and excuse me.
Yeah.
Sorry. That was. No, I did
No, you're
reflect.
good.
I did reflect.
Don't worry.
Yeah, sorry. I'm totally over the flu, but you know how the cough lingers for like
Oh,
8
yeah,
hours.
yeah,
So
you're good.
yeah,
All good,
apologies. Yeah, I'm trying to direct it away from you, Joey, as well.
No, it's all good, don't
Yeah,
worry.
right. So, yeah, when you're looking from the selfish perspective of the composer, it's like, have I done this before or have I not done this before?
Right.
So from that very specific perspective, I have not done something like this before.
Yes.
Which is immediately appealing.
Yeah.
So it's like, I get a chance to do something different. Have I worked with this person before? No. Obviously, in this case, it's a very unique circumstance because we do know each other for a long time now. So, I knew that when we would start working together, I wanted to, I didn't want to like derail you with too many like this, and that, so to speak.
Yeah.
But like, I knew that it was important to sort of, switch a little bit from I'm your friend to I am now responsible for this part of this project that you're investing a lot of heart into and a lot of time and all that sort of thing. And so like, I've got to tell you when something is wrong as well. I've got to tell you, and also I had to prepare you for the fact that like you're not going to hear like finished music out the gate. You're going to hear a fucking piano sketch, which is going to be fucking shoddy because they can't play piano very well and I have to like, dress it up a little bit. I can play piano a little bit, but it's like,
Yeah, I was about to say, I've played with you. You can play piano.
Okay. But like,
Kevin is-
You're too humble.
Kevin is far too humble, and we'll get to that because I got some stories. But,
thank you. But like, it comes down to like I was talking about standards earlier. It's like none of this music is like from a production standpoint going to be standard ready. It's going to be start with the structure, get everything in place, and so I knew that I had to guide you through that as your composer, not as your friend. Not just as your friend. So, we can still have fun. Doesn't mean that like, it's like this, stone wall sort of thing. But it means that, I've got to tell you my expertise while also adhering to any situations that you have as well. We're working together, yes, but we're also working with the studio. The studio has a very important voice as well that can't be ignored and should not be ignored. And so, I've got a music director that I work with and all my anime stuff that he's coming in on and stuff like that. So there's all these different, pressure points, so to speak, that, as a composer, it is your responsibility not just to write the music, but also to navigate it and make sure that you're taken care of, studio's taken care of, composer's selfish needs, lastly are taken care of, and just getting, something that sounds what you imagined as best as possible, that I have the ability to create as best as possible, and that works with the studio. We're also writing film music. We would have talked maybe a little bit last time about how anime music is created. A lot of it is done you basically create 30 to 70 pieces of music on an Excel sheet and you give them a description, a very basic description, then you go on your way. In this case, we're writing what I would refer to as film music or sync music. So we're writing a whole film in a project file, and you're not
syncing it to the picture.
Well, you're syncing it to the picture as you write it, as opposed to after the fact.
Yes.
So this is not a TV show.
Yes.
This is a film. This is a short film. And so there's different pressure. There's different advantages and disadvantages to writing film music and sync music versus what we would call menu music.
Yeah.
In this case, the advantage is that you can see exactly what's happening. You know exactly where it's going to happen at any given time, and you contour the music around that timing wise.
Yeah.
Problem is the cut can change.
Exactly.
So they added more animation. You have no idea how much 1 second and 10 frames of animation can change a piece of music sometimes. It's very interesting. So,
yeah. So I think that's why I was happy when I was, like I said, it's an isekai, and I was bracing for just the. Of course, Garnt. Of course. Okay. But Kevin did say professional. But then I
think it's a nice.
Yeah. Nice. But then as I opened up more about the information of the project, because basically a part of the big reason I wanted to make this was to have to kind of like build a world that is based on something that a lot of my culture can be represented in that I haven't really seen on film before. A lot of the fantasy world and the fantasy element of this is based on Southeast Asian mythology and like aesthetics as well. So it was kind of like my opportunity to build something unique and different that I hadn't seen before. And I was like, I think if I can trust anyone to handle a new challenge, it's Kevin.